How's it going, everyone? Wayne the Unknown here, and welcome to another episode of Geekin' Out, where we basically discuss everything pertaining to the nerd and geek community. Tonight, we are doing another segment on Knowing That Artist, and tonight's special guest artist is Christopher, also known as Crooked Pinky Fingers. How are we doing tonight, Christopher?
Not too bad. How about yourself?
I'm doing really well. So, again, I want to thank you for coming on and being the fourth artist here for this new segment I've been doing. And
Of course.
basically, this segment will be getting to know about the artist, how they got started, how long they've been doing this, and all the other, fun stuff so, people can learn about your work. So to begin, how long have you been doing this for?
You mean like as a convention artist or as an artist in general?
As an artist in general.
Well, it's kind of where my name started. I have crooked pinky fingers. Later on as I researched it, it's called clinodactyly, which is basically a trait that causes a slight bend in pinky fingers that affects about 3% of the world population. So it's basically like a cool birthmark that's pretty generic. But I was always told growing up that I was related to an artist, a famous watercolor artist named Charles Birchfield, who also had crooked pinky fingers. So because I had crooked pinky fingers, oh my gosh, I'm making fun of you for getting the name of your show. I'm forgetting the name.
It's alright.
Because I had crooked pinky fingers, that I was going to be creative and artistic. So it was kind of something that was always embedded in me. And kind of the rest is history. So I've been drawing since I could pick up a crayon.
So, a pretty long time then.
A decently long time, yeah. Thanks for calling me old.
Hey, I'm old too, don't worry. Uh, so, are you right now? Are you drawing one of the sisters from My Neighbor Totoro?
Yes, I am. I'm currently working on the screaming scene where they're all up at the top of the
Oh
hill.
man,
It's something that I've wanted to draw for a while.
definitely.
So,
I've seen your work, and a lot of it's like really good, especially the one you sent me for the thumbnail where it was Mew and Steven.
yeah, I love that one. One of my first illustrations when I started going to conventions, I had this idea that Steven Universe and Mew would be like best friends if they were in the same universe,
I feel
especially
like I
because of
feel
the
like they
pink
would
bubbles.
because they're both unique in their own way.
They're both one of a kind. They're both very childlike energies that are just pure. And I drew them together, and it was one of my favorite prints that I don't really sell too much of anymore because the show's over. But
I mean, people still love the show. I mean, you'll see people cosplay from Steven Universe to this day.
oh yeah, no, I was extremely happy. I just got back from MegaCon Orlando.
Oh yeah, how was that, by the way? I seen your pictures.
It was wonderful. It was my first convention going across the country, so it was my first experience having to check all of my convention displays and all of that. And it was oh gosh, it was an experience within itself. I got stopped by TSA because they were confused as to what was in my bags.
They're not used to artists, I guess, coming through.
Apparently, and I thought it was because I had two giant metal banner stand feet in my carry-on because they're heavy. So I decided I'm gonna lug them around the airport so I don't have to pay the overweight fee. And they stopped me and they were talking to me about it, and they were like, no, 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 that's not what we're looking at. We're looking at what's in those boxes. And I was like, what do you mean what's in those boxes? That came up on our scanner as what was the word? What was the terminology that they used? Suspicious organic material. It was my
Okay.
business cards.
Oh,
So they
how
ripped open all the boxes of my business cards to make sure that that's suspicious organic material.
how is how are business cards suspicious organic material? They're paper. They're basically like little rectangular pieces of cardboard paper with your business logo and everything.
I have no idea, but I'm definitely going to be contacting Vistaprint to be like, what did you put in my business cards?
Yeah, no, I mean, I've ordered from Vistaprint and nothing like.
To be honest, it's not like the worst thing in the world. It was just one of those kind of like comical experiences of
I
getting
mean, yeah,
stopped
your
by
first
TSA.
out of state convention, you get stopped by TSA. Yeah, that would be a story to tell your grandchildren.
Oh, definitely, definitely, definitely. But
But
no. Anyway, to answer your question further or earlier, MegaCon was fantastic. It was a greatly run show. I heard that it was a little bit less in attendance based on previous years, but there was a lot of factors going on to it, like change in dates, all the mask mandates, everything that's going on with the
COVID.
plague that is currently
Yeah,
taking over the world.
I've known Florida. They're not big on the whole COVID thing.
Actually, I was actually very pleasantly surprised. There are very few people that were not wearing masks or were not wearing masks properly, and it was very refreshing to me because I went to, like, it was my first convention back. There's the spike of the Delta variant, and kind of freaking out, like, oh shoot, are we about to go back into lockdown when I'm finally able to make money again?
Yeah, no, that's been my concern, especially, I mean, this video won't be posted for a while, but talk about like the cons that are gonna happen here in Oregon. Like we're like days away from Metavarlark and Anna Medford, and with all
Hmm.
this going on, it's like I hope they don't do like a last minute cancellation thing because that would really suck.
It's one of those things where it's like I would understand, be disappointed, yes, but I would understand.
All right.
That's kind of the mentality that I've reached, especially with conventions and specifically the companies that run them, that are at least very vocal and very communicative with their exhibitors and their guests and their attendees.
Oh yeah,
And
no.
I think that the company that's running Metalark and Anna Medford have been fantastic through the entirety of it, because like through 2020, like they didn't only just like lose their show dates, they also lost their convention space.
Yeah, which it sucks, but I'm glad that they're being in a bigger venue. Especially they can get more vendors and artists and guests and all that stuff.
Oh, I completely agree.
Yeah, no,
I'm really excited about it.
I had the chance to talking to Dave Hayworth and Marina, the people who helped run that con, and yeah, no, they've been. We were talking about the other cons they've been doing this year, and so far, it seems to be all good and everything.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that.
Yeah. So, what's it like being a artist for conventions? By the way, since we're might as well bring up that topic.
Well, it seems like the natural flow of conversation. Um, I got into being a convention artist at the end of 2017. One of my friends that I met in college was a convention artist, and they were kind of deciding whether or not they wanted to continue with it. And since I was very interested in it, I was like, hey, do you want to split some booth space? So they took me to my first convention ever, which was Rose City 2017, and I just like fell in love with the atmosphere. I met so many amazing artists in Artist Alley and went like, yeah, I definitely want to be a part of this. And started my first like little library con in Klamath Falls, was my first show ever. And
Nice.
then kind of like the rest is history. Like it's just so much fun being around amazing creative people, and it's not just the other artists that are in Artist Alley. You get to see the cosplayers that really put in a lot of passion into what they do, and get to talk with people that you don't have to explain why you're nerdy. You just get it.
It's like people know.
It's like what I love. Like I have a little vinyl decal on the back of my car of the little forest spirits from Mononoke no Kodama.
I remember that. I think because I had you as a Uber Lyft driver once.
Oh goodness, don't talk about my day job. My goodness.
But
But it's
no,
like that little like beacon of like, hey, I'm a nerd too. This is a safe space to kind of geek out.
oh yeah, no, definitely. And I imagine your art's been like really well received when you go to conventions and everything.
Thank you. I like to think of that as well. It's been a definite journey. It's always funny when my friends and I get together, my convention friends specifically, and we all look at each other's tables from the past and we compare. Just mostly not comparing each other, but comparing like ourselves to our past and just how much we've grown. And like when I started, like I had I think 8 prints. I had 25 stickers, and now I have over 100. I actually need to like kind of condense down.
Oh, geez, that's quite a bit.
Yeah. I mean, everyone handled the pandemic a little bit differently, and for me, it was trying to create as many things as I could sell on Etsy as I could.
Now, I've also come to notice like you have your own unique art style as well. From what I've like looked at your, I'm looking at your Instagram. You definitely have your own unique style.
But thank you. Um, and that's just kind of something that comes with the repetition. Like everyone, or it's this thing that everyone wants to kind of find and have within themselves is this distinct art style. And in reality, like just draw, and your art style will kind of come to you. Like try different things that you see other artists doing that you like, and just
Right.
with it.
But yeah, no, like looking at the picture you're drawing, I can't remember her name, but I know she's the little sister from My Neighbor Totoro.
Oh gosh, I think it's May.
Yeah, I
So
think
bad I did not
it
double check.
is. I do like how you're paying homage to classic Hayao Miyazaki film for sure.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
So would now on to the next. Would this be like the biggest project you've done, or were there other projects that were like very time consuming?
Oh no. If you want the biggest project that I ever took on, that one would definitely be my Steven Universe points poster. The plan was because I was going to be attending MegaCon last year, just a couple of weeks after Steven Universe Future was going to have its finale. I wanted to kind of do this last like Steven Universe hurrah, and I made this poster that has, if I remember counting it correctly, it has over 150 characters on it.
I think I'm looking at it right now. It has like all the characters from like Lion to Amethyst to all the other gems.
Oh, everyone from Steven all the way down to White Diamond, even like the Jade fusion from that one episode
Let's
in the
see.
final series, like final
New
oh
poster,
what is
yeah,
it
and I
called?
see it. New poster designed by Crooked Pinky Fingers. That's like a lot of. I mean, you got Obsidian, you got Opal. Yeah, no, that's like. How long did that take you drawing all those the characters' faces and everything?
Oh, I don't want to talk about that. It was I didn't time myself like hour wise, but it took months just
Oh,
to
geez, yeah. I
get
mean,
like okay, when I say months, like maybe 2 months. I shouldn't exaggerate that much.
still,
But it was a lot of
that's
like
a relatively long time getting all those faces and everything and the detail as well.
and I thought it would be like, oh, it's gonna be not that bad. Like I'm doing simplified faces that totally go with the show's canon, and no, that took forever. It
Yeah,
took
no, I'm
forever.
like I'm looking at it right now and just like I mean. That's just like a crazy amount of detail. Get it all, each character. Mind you, I've never watched all the episodes of Steven Universe, but I've seen like clips and everything online of the characters and like, hey, Steven's little cheeseburger backpack,
I tried to throw in as many little things just because.
and the finger cats episode. Oh
Mhm.
God.
I really went all out for that print.
Oh yeah, it looks like you did and everything.
It is still to date my biggest project, and I don't. I've debated if I wanted to try to do that with other shows, and like I just think about like the amount of just
Oh
eye
yes,
strain.
especially if you were like to do it like for Adventure Time or something.
Hmm.
That would like be like another time consuming one.
I thought about doing it for Avatar,
Oh jeez.
the Last Airbender, not the Blue People.
Oh, naturally.
I always like to make sure of that.
Yeah, no, yeah, with the
Before,
same names and everything. Yeah, no, I get it. But one came before the other though.
yep, but I
Now,
thought about doing that. So
As a digital artist, have you ever done like any like comics or anything like that?
I did have a comic for a very brief period of time, and it was based off my relationship at the time. But unfortunately, that relationship ended. So, thus did the comic.
What was the name of the comic, if you don't mind sharing?
Um, the comic was named Mind the Gap. And it was
Nice.
just basically like a little LGBTQ friendly
Nice.
about um, just kind of like life dating,
Nice.
especially since like the whole premise of it was we were about 16 years different in age, so I thought that that would be a little fun thing to discuss of
Hence the
like being
name.
in an age gap relationship. Exactly. There's a lot of people that are in those kind of relationships, and it's seen as like bizarre to a lot of people, but we were very happy. We were happy together.
Nice.
But
And
I'm also now, yeah, working on a new comic, but it hasn't come to fruition yet because comics take a lot of energy and
oh
time.
yeah, no, especially if you're doing it by yourself. And I've had the opportunity
Mhm.
to talk to two other comic book artists who were guests on here, Mark Belton and Lefty's Comics.
Oh, nice.
And actually, I've noticed you've done some. I have to say, your LGBTQ plus artwork is really well done.
Thank you so much.
Uh,
Which one are you looking at specifically?
I'm looking at the. It's the one they have like the yellow, red, and blue tank top with the pink hair.
Oh, okay. Um,
Your Pride Flag OCs like they're really.
yes. I need to finish that project. That was kind of one of those things that I started and never really finished because uh, quarantine, the quarantine sadness was very real.
Oh yeah, no, I imagine not just for artists but for cosplayers too and everyone
Oh,
else.
absolutely. I mean, it affected all creatives in a very intense way,
Oh,
and it was
I believe it.
and it's very. I'm very happy to know that we're at least at that point where we can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Oh yeah, I
Because I
mean
think
it's a far
artists,
it's a long tunnel, but you can like see like a glimpse of that light.
but it's like, yeah, you think about that, and it's like, well, there was a point in time where we couldn't see the end of the tunnel, where we were just kind of left in limbo. So, at least there is an end in sight.
Oh
To
yeah,
anyone that says like, well, maybe not. Like, no, like let's just keep putting like positive
stay
energies.
positive and everything.
Yeah, like please, come on. We don't need any more negativity in this world.
Now, on to another topic that's like related for all artists. What's it like when drawing hands and feet?
You say as I'm drawing a hand.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not trying to like say it negative. I just know like a good chunk of artists, they're like their least favorite things. Like the top three things I've heard from artists, their least favorite things to draw are eyes, hands, and feet.
I mean, one of my big things is like fake it until you make it.
Words to live by.
Because like my hands are in no way perfect as you get a beautiful close up of that scrumptious little design flaw.
I mean,
But
it happens. I
when
mean,
you look
from
at it in the overall kind of
I mean,
image, like
it looks
that's great.
pretty good. Like you don't notice it, and I mean the overall look is really well done.
Well, thank you.
I mean, the facial expressions you got on both the sisters. I mean,
I mean, this is one of my favorite scenes from the movie,
oh
like
yeah,
because it is so expressive.
oh yeah, no, definitely. So again, I know I asked this. What made you want to draw from this scene specifically from the movie?
That's actually a really interesting story because it's not really related to the movie. It's related to something that happened when I bought. I have this poster of this entire scene hanging up in my room, and I got it as a little free gift with buying a movie in. I think it was in the little Chinatown in San Francisco, and I bought. I believe it was Grave of the Fireflies. and it came with a free.
Such a
I
sad
know
movie.
that one's a whole nother like. I
Can of
haven't been
worms.
able to watch it a second time, but like I own it out of respect for it.
Understandable.
But I bought that and got the free poster, and I chose this poster specifically because it was like the most expressive to me, and it filled with joy, and I loved it.
I mean, yeah,
Like
they're basically all yelling.
exactly, they're all screaming out, and just it's just beautiful to me. And the partner that I was dating at the time was like, "You really want to choose that one?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that one's my favorite. I like that." And it's kind of that reminder of I have had absolutely no regrets in buying it. It's one of my favorite things that I have in my office. And that's like 9 years later. Like it has
Nice.
had more longevity than that relationship. And it's that kind of like reminder to me of like, do what you love.
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
Follow what you're happy with. Because if you're trying to create art for someone else that isn't something that you have passion behind, like it's just not the same as doing it for some like for the love of it.
Nice. Now, another question I usually will ask the artist on here, like the last three I've done. What's it like doing commissions for people?
Ooh, that's a new thing for me. I started as a graphic designer and just realized that I do not like dealing with clients that don't know anything about art. I mean, I've had some amazing clients, don't get me wrong,
But
but
then
then
there's those
there's some
there's the
like
ones that
that.
just don't understand about pricing or what you do.
Oh yeah, everyone is like it is one of the most relatable things as an artist that we have all been asked to do something for free or for exposure or for likes.
Hmm.
It's just kind of the constant oh gosh, the words escaping me.
Struggle.
Just people wanting to degrade a craft and saying like, well, you can do that, like you do that for fun. And I'm like, yeah, but this is also my profession. Like I don't study, like I don't do figure studies and study hand models and lighting compositions for fun necessarily. Like yes, I enjoy it,
Right. But it also helps,
but to make sure that my art continues to
it
evolve.
helps pay the bills and everything too, and to continue what you do.
Exactly.
I mean, now
I get to continue to enjoy it.
I know some artists do like free art like for their close friends, but if like they're trying to get their name out there
Mhm.
and sell, it's like yeah, it's gonna cost because I mean, commissioners not just for artists, but for like for example for those who make cosplays, they're gonna charge an arm and a leg sometimes because they're putting in the hours
Mhm.
and the work, like I'm sure you do.
Mhm. I'm sorry, did I miss the question?
Oh, so no, I think you answered about what it's like being doing commissions for other people. Actually, bring into the next question. What's the weirdest, appropriate commission you've done? The weirdest appropriate commission you've ever done for someone?
Well, I mean, appropriate is kind of like one of my main things. Like I have even a sign on my table that says like I do not safe for work. I do not do lewd. Mostly because like as you can see, I have a very like cute, cutesy art style.
Childlike,
And,
yeah, and there's something wrong with that.
oh, absolutely not. Like one of my favorite artists to date, Katie Cook. She has a brilliant webcomic on Webtoons called Nothing Special. And in one of her Q&As, she talked about like how people asked her why is she creating this like deep, intense fantasy adventure with such a cutesy style. And she said, my style doesn't determine what kind of story I can tell. Like, yeah, like she really worked hard to get herself the name that she has in art when she was doing work for like My Little Pony comics, but now she's doing her own. And just because she has a cutesy style doesn't determine like what she can and cannot do because of her style.
Kind of like
Uh,
kind of like the creators behind Owl House. It looks cutesy and everything, but
it's an intense story. Like it's a ride. My
oh
goodness, that show is getting intense.
yeah, no.
But to answer your question for the weirdest commission that I've ever had, it was actually very recent. It was at MegaCon, and my table neighbor, Lauren Jankowski, asked me if I could draw a figure skating duo like an Olympic figure skating duo that's like their brother and sister, and they're known for the sister lifting the brother.
Mm-hmm.
And I drew this commission for her, and like it's still like one of the funniest. You can see it on like the top of my Instagram, and it got shouted out by both of the figure skaters. So I got a shout out from Olympians for my art.
Nice.
It was definitely like one of the weirdest things
Yep,
I've
I'm
drawn.
looking at it right now. Commission of,
But it was so much fun. Oh, it was so much fun.
and I like how. So what I'm looking at it right now. What kind of pen did you use to give it that shine when you like flip it back and forward?
Oh, the silver?
Yeah.
Oh, that's just a Sharpie.
R-
Like the fantastic things that you can do. You don't have to have like expensive materials to create fine art. Like there's that common misconception. Yeah, like it can create pretty art, but it's the talent of the artist first and foremost. Like that's done with Sharpies.
That's like really impressive.
Thank you.
So back to conventions and being an artist. Um, what's it like drawing for Congoers who come by to want to buy a piece of your artwork?
As in, like, are we still talking along the lines of commission or just in general?
Just in general.
It's always an amazing feeling when someone buys something that you created because they love it. Like that idea of like I created something and someone wants to give me money for it. Like I still can't quite wrap my brain around that. It's a bizarre concept. But I always have the like biggest emotional responses when someone buys something that I definitely like put my heart and soul in, didn't really create it because it was the popular thing to do. It was just because it was something I desperately wanted and I wanted to create, and someone says, "Yes, that you I need that in my life."
Nice.
It's always such a beautiful feeling.
Oh, that's always a good thing. Now, what's like? Is there any advice you'd like to give out there for people who are wanting to become an artist or who are thinking about wanting to get into art?
I think my biggest piece of advice is to draw what you love. It's like one of those hard things to kind of, especially when you're wanting to make money with art. Draw what you love, your fans will come to you. And I'm not saying like don't advertise your stuff. Don't You have to learn how to use social media. But I've always gotten the strongest fans from people that related to something that I drew out of love rather than something that I drew just because it was a popular character at the time. And
Right.
those kind of moments are always, or that is something that I give forth, because when you get a genuine fan that sees something that you put your heart and soul into, it definitely creates this kind of connection that is unmatched.
Right.
I don't know if that did that come off okay.
Oh yeah, no, that came out perfect. Actually, now, so when you do your digital art, what art program do you use?
I'm currently using Procreate on my iPad.
I've been hearing a lot about that. Actually, was I watched this YouTube channel called Drawfee, and they use the exact same. Some of the artists on there use the exact same program.
Oh, it's fantastic. It's of course it's not as advanced or integrated as say the Adobe Suite, but considering it's only a one-time fee of I believe it was like $10.
That's not bad.
Yeah, and I mean considering I've made that over and over again. I'm not going to necessarily say how much money I've made from just this program, but like $10 when you're especially a starting off artist is not as big of a chunk to take off rather than having to pay for a monthly subscription that the Adobe Suite has gone towards.
Right.
So I like to try to see where I can save money. Like I cut all my stickers out by hand so that I
Really?
can Yes.
Oh,
I
jeez.
get always get the constant question of like, where do you get your stickers printed? Like, I would love
That was
to.
actually going to be my next question.
Oh gosh. No, it's one of the most common questions that I get. Like, where do you get your stickers printed? And I'm like, I get them printed off in sheets. I haven't gotten to the point where I'm printing at home yet, but that's going to be my next step.
Well, I mean,
But I literally
that'd
print
probably
them
be
all out at home.
nice.
I'm sorry, what was that?
I said that'll be nice just printing them at home so you don't have to like wait for the mail or anything to
I mean,
deliver.
yeah, but it's also a good motivator for someone like me that does definitely like to procrastinate, or and not even just like procrastinate on getting orders done. It's always that mentality that a lot of people have in conventions called con crunch.
Oh yeah.
Sure, you're familiar with, where
I'm familiar with that word. After doing about 61 uh interviews for my cosplay con talk, that's probably the most common question I always ask is about con crunch.
oh, artists feel it too. Artists,
Artist crunch.
it's still con crunch, and it is very you have to reach this moment where it's like, okay, I cannot create anymore. I have to turn off my creative side of my brain so that I can actually get this product out.
Right.
Because of course, it's so much more fun creating than like sitting there like watching or binging Netflix while trying to cut out hundreds of stickers. But it's what I gotta do.
Yeah, it's understandable. I believe I did ask this question. What was like the very first piece of art you shown at your very first con?
Ooh, when I first went, I was trying to like get as much small things out as quickly as I could. So I came with like I think it was like 25 stickers around that. And I believe it was a total of, excuse me, like 8 prints. And I still remember my first sale, and I did a illustration of Lion from Steven Universe,
Nice.
and it was of course before like all of the secrets came out. And I'm still very proud of that piece because of an accident that I created, and that was the way that I drew that diamond. It was not how I was supposed to, but then it was later revealed that that's the shape of the diamond. So I was like, yeah. I'm still very proud of that piece, and I still remember like the guy that wanted to buy it from me and probably was really confused by like my emotional reaction of like, really, you want my art? It's like, yeah, can I get 2 of them? Like, really?
I imagine that was pretty cool to hear, especially it would be it being your first con and being your first time vendor.
Oh yeah, nothing like your first sale. Nothing like your first sale. I'd be kind of surprised if artists don't remember their like first convention sale.
Nice. And you said your first con was Rose City?
But that was the first con I ever went to.
Okay.
My first convention was this little tiny library con in Klamath Falls that they like threw together, kind of like how the Medford Library
Yeah,
used to
yeah.
do.
I can't
And
wait for Midford Comic Con to come back.
I don't know if it will come back. I hope so. I know that they were getting a little bit um tired of it,
Oh.
but I hope that they find a new rejuvenation and really do want to bring it back because it was quite a community event
Oh
and
yeah, no. I mean,
filled with so much love and happiness.
it's a free con too, but again, having to cancel in 2020, having to cancel again in 2021. I mean, I'm still thankful that we're getting a con this year, but it's nice to have like that extra con.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. But yeah, we definitely like money trailing. My goodness. But yeah, that I still remember selling that piece, and that now like that now that piece has been discontinued because it's no longer selling on my table. But it will still be the first print that I ever sold.
Now, speaking of that, have there been prints in the past that you've haven't done in so? Because this is a question I also ask for cosplayers about, that one that you haven't done in so long, would you want to do again? So, is there that one art piece you haven't done in so long that you would want to bring back either to show on your Instagram or to show back at a con?
Still, Every artist has that one piece that's on their table that they kind of wish that they could retire, but can't retire because it still does so well. And it's mostly like not that they don't like the piece, it's that their art style or their technique or their ability has changed so much since they've created that piece that it's kind of sometimes like, oh, really? Like, I can't believe that that one's still selling. And for me, that's my first Garnet piece where I did Flexibility, Love, and Trust.
Freaking love
And
Garnet from that
because
from the
that
Steven
scene has
universe.
so much emotion in it and people love the emotion that's behind it, like, it's still, like, I sold it at MegaCon even though I've had it since the very beginning. I believe that was on my first table.
Nice. I mean, Garnet is like a well. Out of all the other gems, I have to say Garnet is probably my favorite, especially finding out that she's actually a fusion later on down the road, which I didn't know about.
Oh yeah, and voiced by Estelle, like, nonetheless. Like, that's incredible. Like, you remember that song American Boy?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's her.
Really?
Like, that's the, like, one of those crazy things when you find it's like, oh, okay.
I love it. I just the one you're drawing right now. I love their facial reaction.
Oh.
Now, is that the blue one or is that Totoro himself?
No, that's the little blue one.
Okay, man. Like I said, it's been a long time since I've seen this movie
No,
and
he's
like
the
this
stuck
scene.
up one.
Now, if like three more questions to go. So, what inspires you to continue to do this? Like, I know there are some artists who just completely stopped in their tracks because so many people, everyone's like wanted to do this now, and they feel like they're not well received as they used to be. What makes you continue to do this? Not just for conventions, but continue to draw for yourself and for others.
Oh, good question. I mean, quite simply and generically, because I love it. Like, I love to create. There, there really is nothing else like it when you get to see something where it's like, my hand did that. Like, I did that.
And you don't let
And it's something
you don't let your pinkies get in the way either, I imagine.
that it's one of those things. I've had it since birth. Like, it's literally just a birth.
A what?
If you're picking out a name, don't go with something that is 21 characters long because having to fill out applications is sometimes a nuisance, especially when they're like, okay, so you can only have 20 letters, so I have to figure out which letter of Crooked Pinky Fingers I have to take out. And then, like, okay, so what is your email? And it's like, it's Crooked Pinky Fingers. Like, what is your website? www.crookedpinkyfingers.com. What is your social media handle? Ugh,
Same
at
thing.
Crooked Pinky Fingers. Like, that is like, try to find something a little bit more concise than I did. Like, I still love my name, don't get me wrong, but every time I see that on an application, I'm like, oh, here we go.
Yeah, no, that's how it is with my handle. It's basically based off my old like a little homage based off my old gamer tag.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
The Wayne the
And
Unknown.
yep. Glad to finally have a name stuck for this channel and everything. And I'm hoping to do something like this at cons in person one of these days.
Oh,
Yeah.
like an interview at convention?
Yeah.
That would be super cool.
Yeah, no, like I said, I definitely have to thank the people who are going to con that I've interviewed. I'm definitely have to thank them in person for wanting to be interviewed and everything.
Well, I do hope to see you. You're coming to
Uh,
Meadowlark and
and
Animet.
Medford, yep. I'm going to both cons. So with Meadowlark, I'm not going to be cosplaying as anything. Day two, I'm going to be cosplaying as Simon from Adventure Time.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm.
Are you excited about it?
Yeah, it's the second time I've done his human version. I was gonna do his Ice King, like when he's slowly transitioning to the Ice King,
Oh, that
but
would be cool.
with the heat and everything, it's like no, I don't want the blue face paint to just come off my face. It's the beard and the wig and too much.
And that was like, I actually, I know you didn't ask this, but it's something that I do want to throw out there that coming back from MegaCon specifically, I was really impressed by all the cosplayers that were there, especially the ones that figured out like really cool and unique ways to like incorporate a mask into their convention,
Yes, I was
their
just
cosplay.
about to say that when I saw your pictures. I like the fact that cosplayers are finding a way to combine their masks with their cosplays.
It's safety in cosplay.
Exactly.
And
No, exactly. That's no, I wholeheartedly agree. It's definitely a convention safety and awareness thing for sure.
I don't think that it gets enough recognition. Um, that it's like no, cosplayers really like do make a convention, and it was so exciting to see it again.
Well, wholeheartedly for sure. I I can't argue with that.
Well, I hope you wouldn't as a cosplayer yourself.
No, I mean I part-time cosplay, but yeah, no, I feel like, I had a feeling that I was actually waiting for Metal Arc and Animate for to, announce, hey, just so you know, if you want to come to this con, you have to, wear a mask and everything,
Uh-huh.
which is totally understandable in my opinion.
Oh, it in this in this economy, absolutely.
hmm so two more questions before we end this. What would you say the shortest, like the most quickest art piece you've ever done is?
There are there are really fun moments where it's just like you sit down, you're really inspired, and you just want to create something, and it just comes out really, really quick. Um, I'm trying to think which I would call my like quickest. Definitely, when I made all of the new Hilda stickers, I was so excited for season two, and I am
Wait, who?
sitting on the Hilda. It's a original series on Netflix that
Oh, okay. I think I've vaguely
mhm.
heard of that. I think.
It's not it doesn't have as much representation, which makes me so sad because it's such an amazing show. But definitely when season two came out, like I planned and I took the day off and I did all the sketches for for season two sticker packs, and I just like sat and created. And I don't think I've whipped out like designs that quickly for a show before, but I was so excited for season two, and I'm still excited for season three.
Nice.
Like that's going to be an exciting thing.
Oh, I believe it. Now to end this podcast series. Um, what any last minute thing you'd like to say for those who are listening to this?
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
It's something I always like, and all like my panels and podcasts I've done for cosplay con talk and everything. It's something I always ask because I feel like there's like something they want to they want to say themselves.
Oh, actually, kind of tailing off something that I missed when you were asking me, like, what advice do you have for people wanting to become an artist, specifically a convention artist? And something that I've grown to love, and I definitely like to put out there into the world, is that if you have questions, ask. Like, of course, like, no, make sure you're aware of your surroundings. Like, don't be asking convention artists while they're trying to make a sale, like, questions about their booth or everything. But we're all trying to figure all this convention stuff out from scratch. Like, our displays are like closet organizers, cork boards, like some of the most random items, and it takes quite a bit of like looking around and exploring. We all have our different printers that we prefer, our different methods on how we get pins, buttons. Like, don't be afraid to ask those kind of questions. And of course, like there are going to be people that won't give you answers, but I think it's a very important thing to like share, especially in the art community. That it's I don't like to view it as a competition. Like
It's definitely not a competition.
because it should never be.
Save that for the cosplay contest.
I mean, that is a competition, but like as an artist, it's not a competition. You all want to see each other strive, and or not strive. Wow, to thrive. Tongue-tied just a wee bit. And if that's not your goal, like, I don't know why you're doing it. Like, I want every single artist I don't compare myself to. I love seeing their progress. One of my closest art friends, we went to the same, like, our first convention was that little tiny Klamath convention, and every time she has success, I'm extremely happy for her. Like, it's not a competition. She does things that are very different from what I do.
Yeah, no, always,
But
always support your local artists for sure, especially at cons.
to put it in a very compact way, yes, support your local artists.
Definitely. I
Yeah, I
think
think that's what I got.
I think that should about do it. Again, Christopher, thank you for coming on and being the fourth guest for Geeking Out, knowing that artist. And
Thank you so much for inviting me.
oh no,
I really
definitely.
appreciate
Welcome. And of course, I'll be making sure to put the links to your social media accounts in the description below so people can, check that out and ask questions if they have any. And again, looking forward to seeing you at Anna Medford and Metal Art Comic Con this year.
Yeah, man, I'll see you there. Can't wait to see your cosplay.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Again, I am Wendy Unknown. Thank you for watching this segment for Geeking Out. Until next time, thank you for listening, and as always, thank you for watching.